If you printed out all the mathematical weights in GPT-4, you'd need 46 square miles of paper. That's enough to cover San Francisco. In 2026, artificial intelligence isn't one thing anymore. It's 7 different types of models. Some chat with you, some control robots, some predict the future. By the end of this video, you'll understand what each AI model does and why 2026 is the year everything changes. Large language models. Let's start with the one you probably know. Large language models, or LLMs for short. These are the AI systems behind ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. They're trained on trillions of words from the internet, books, and articles to understand and generate human language. Here's what makes them massive. GPT-4 has over 250 billion parameters. Those are mathematical weights that store knowledge. To give you perspective, that 200 billion parameter model would fill 46 square miles if you printed it out. Yet it responds to you in under a second. Think of an LLM like a super-powered autocomplete. You type a few words and it predicts what should come next based on patterns it learned from trillions of examples. It's doing this one word at a time, but so fast you can't tell. The biggest breakthrough? Context windows. Early models could only remember about 1,500 words at once. Claude 3 can now handle 2 million tokens. That's like reading an entire novel and remembering every detail while talking to you. People use LLMs for writing emails, generating code, translating languages, and answering questions. They're incredibly versatile because they learned from such diverse data. But here's the catch. They can't actually do anything besides generate text. They can't book your flight or check your bank account. They just respond to prompts with words. And sometimes they confidently make up false information, which we call hallucination. Still, LLMs are the foundation that makes most other AI possible. Which brings us to the next evolution, multimodal models. Now, let's talk about multimodal models. This is where AI stops being text-only and starts understanding the world like you do. Multimodal AI can process text, images, audio, and video all at the same time. GPT-4V added vision to text. But Google's Gemini was built multimodal from the ground up, meaning it was designed to handle multiple formats natively. Here's what's wild. Gemini 2.5 can analyze an entire 2-hour movie in a single request. You can upload a full-length film and ask it to find every scene where a specific actor appears. Something that would take a human hours of careful watching happens instantly. Think of it like this. Regular LLMs are like someone who can only read. Multimodal models are like someone who can see, hear, and read simultaneously. Just like your brain converts light, sound, and text into the same neural signals, these models convert images, audio, and words into the same mathematical format. The technical trick is encoders. When you show it an image encoder breaks the picture into thousands of patches. It analyzes edges, then textures, then objects, then concepts. All this gets converted into vectors, which are just lists of numbers. Text and audio go through their own encoders. But here's the key. All the encoders output vectors in the same mathematical space. That unified format lets the model reason across different types of input. You'll see this in document analysis where text, tables, and images need to be understood together. Accessibility tools that describe images for visually impaired users. Even coding assistants that can look at screenshots and write the code to match. The limitation? Processing video is still slower and more expensive than text alone. And these models can still make mistakes in visual understanding. But multimodal AI is how we get closer to machines that perceive the world the way humans do. Agentic AI. Speaking of evolution, let's talk about Agentic AI. This is the biggest shift happening in 2026. Agentic AI doesn't just respond to prompts. It pursues goals autonomously. You give it an objective like, book a flight to New York under $300. And it plans the steps, searches flights, compares prices, and completes the booking without you guiding each action. Here's the difference. When you use ChatGPT, you ask one question and get one answer. That's it. With an agentic system, you set a goal, and the AI figures out everything needed to accomplish it. It has 4 components: a planner that breaks goals into steps, an executor that carries out each step, memory that learns from past actions, and a toolchain that lets it access APIs, databases, and other systems. Think of regular LLMs as librarians. You ask a question, they give an answer, conversation ends. Agentic AI is like hiring a research assistant for an entire project. You tell them what you need, and they handle the whole workflow without checking in at every step. Quick reminder, if you're finding this helpful, that subscribe button helps us make more videos like this. Now, back to Agentic AI. Gartner predicts that by 2028, 15% of daily work decisions will be made autonomously by these AI agents. That's up from 0% today. 1 in 7 decisions at your job could be happening without human input. Businesses are already using this for IT operations, customer service, and inventory management. The AI monitors systems, detects problems, and fixes them automatically. But here's the reality check. Gartner also predicts over 40% of agentic AI projects will be canceled by 2027. Why? Soaring costs, unclear business value, and inadequate risk controls. We're still figuring out how to trust systems that make decisions on their own. The technology works, but making it reliable and cost-effective is the hard part, which is why the next type of AI is taking a completely different approach. Physical AI moving on to physical AI, also called embodied AI. This is where artificial intelligence gets a body. At CES 2026, the tech industry had a wake-up call. AI wasn't just on screens anymore. It was walking, grabbing objects, and working alongside humans in warehouses and factories. Industry leaders are calling 2026 the year A. I truly entered the physical world. Physical AI combines computer vision, sensors, motors, and machine learning into robots that can perceive their environment and adapt in real time. Unlike traditional factory robots with fixed programming, these systems learn from experience. Tesla started mass production of its Optimus Gen 3 humanoid robot in January 2026. It's 5 foot 8 inches tall, weighs 125 pounds, and has 22 degrees of freedom in its hands for complex manipulation. The target price? $20,000 to $30,000 once production scales up. Compare that to competitors like Figure 02 and Agility Robotics Digit, which cost over $100,000. That's the difference between buying a car and buying a Ferrari. Think of physical A. I like this. Digital AI is someone who knows how to cook from reading recipes. Physical AI is someone actually cooking in a real kitchen with the heat, spills, and unexpected problems. The physical world is messy and unpredictable. These robots have to handle it. The real trick is imitation learning. Instead of programming every possible movement, robots watch humans perform tasks and learn to replicate them. Drop something, try a different grip next time. That's learning from experience. You'll find these in warehouse logistics, factory assembly lines, and even healthcare for tasks like patient lifting. The global robotics market is projected to nearly quadruple from $51.5 billion in 2025 to $199.5 billion by 2035. The limitations are real, though. Battery life is limited. Coordination is still clumsy compared to humans, and safety concerns are huge when 100-pound robots operate near people. But 2026 marks the shift from demo videos to actual deployment. These robots aren't science fiction anymore. They're clocking in for work. Edge AI lets shift gears to Edge AI, which solves a completely different problem. Instead of sending your data to distant servers, Edge AI brings intelligence directly to your device. Edge AI runs models right on your phone, your security camera, or your IoT sensor. No internet required. Processing happens locally in milliseconds instead of the round-trip time to the cloud. At CES 2026, Nordic Semiconductor announced the NRF54LM20B chip. It's got a neural processing unit that delivers 7 times faster performance and 8 times better energy efficiency than competitors. And it's small enough to fit in a smart doorbell and run for years on a single battery. Think of Cloud A. I like going to the library every time you need a book. Edge AI is having those books on your shelf at home. No travel time, instant access, and nobody knows what you're reading. Here's how it works technically. Those massive models running in the cloud, for edge devices, engineers create compressed versions through quantization and pruning. They remove redundant parameters and convert high-precision math to lower-precision approximations. You sacrifice a tiny bit of accuracy for massive gains in speed and efficiency. The Asus UGen 300 USB AI accelerator can deliver 40 trillion operations per second. That's desktop-level AI power in a USB stick smaller than your thumb. You see Edge AI and facial recognition on your phone, voice assistants that work offline, and industrial sensors that detect equipment failures in real time without waiting for cloud analysis. The advantages are huge: millisecond response times. Your data never leaves the device, which matters for privacy and compliance. It works without internet, and processing locally uses less battery than constant wireless transmission. The catch? You can't run the biggest models on tiny devices. Hardware varies wildly between manufacturers, making software optimization challenging. And updating models requires device updates, which is harder than just updating cloud servers. But with the EU AI Act becoming enforceable in 2026, companies need edge processing for auditability and data privacy. This isn't a nice-to-have anymore. It's becoming required. Generative AI next up. Generative AI. This is the category that creates new content instead of analyzing existing data. Generative AI makes images, videos, music, and text that never existed before. It learns patterns from millions of examples, then generates new content matching those patterns. E3, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion are the big three for images. Each has different strengths. E3 is best for understanding complex instructions and rendering text in images. Midjourney 6 is the aesthetic king, producing the most visually stunning results. And Stable Diffusion 3.5 is open source, free, and can run on a consumer GPU with just 2.4 gigabytes of memory. Here's how image generation works. Diffusion models start with pure random noise, like TV static. Then over dozens of steps, they gradually denoise the image based on your text prompt. Each step sculpts the noise a little closer to a coherent picture. It's like watching a sculpture emerge from a block of marble, except it happens in seconds. For text generation, transformers predict the next word based on everything that came before. For music, models learn structure and harmony from thousands of songs, then compose originals. Different content types use different architectures, but the core idea is the same. Learn patterns, then generate variations. Think of generative AI like a chef who learned by eating at restaurants, then creates new dishes combining techniques they experienced. They're not copying recipes. They're synthesizing what they learned into something new. You'll find this everywhere in 2026. Marketing teams generating product images, musicians creating soundtracks, developers using AI to write code, even drug researchers generating molecular structures for testing. Here's the controversy. In 2023, a Midjourney-generated image of the Pope in a white puffer jacket went viral because millions of people believed it was real. We're in an era where seeing is no longer believing. Deepfakes, misinformation, and copyright concerns are massive challenges. These models trained on copyrighted art and photos without permission, leading to ongoing lawsuits. The technology is incredible, but society is still figuring out the rules, which brings us to the last type, which has been working under the radar for decades. Predictive AI that brings us to Predictive AI, the oldest and most proven type on this list. While everyone's excited about chatbots and image generators, Predictive AI has been quietly running the world's infrastructure for years. Predictive AI analyzes historical data to forecast future outcomes. It's the technology behind fraud detection, weather forecasts, stock market analysis, and medical diagnosis. While generative AI creates new content, predictive AI tells you what's likely to happen next. The technology is simpler than transformers and diffusion models. It uses techniques like regression, decision trees, and gradient boosting. You feed it historical data showing relationships between factors and outcomes. The model learns which variables matter most and how they correlate. Then when you input current conditions, it forecasts the future with a probability score. Think of it like a weather forecaster. They look at decades of historical patterns, current atmospheric conditions, and make predictions about tomorrow. Except AI does this for thousands of variables simultaneously and updates predictions in real time. Here's a real example. When you swipe your credit card, Predictive AI analyzes thousands of factors in microseconds: your location, purchase amount, time of day, your typical spending patterns. If something's off, like your card trying to buy $500 of gas in Wyoming when you've never been there, the system blocks it instantly. Banks prevent billions in fraud every year this way. In 2026, the AI hype is getting a reality check. Gartner's calling it the year where proven ROI matters more than flashy demos. Predictive AI is winning because it has decades of track records showing measurable business value. The limitations? It only works well with high-quality historical data. Garbage in, garbage out. It struggles with completely novel situations not in its training data, and it can perpetuate historical biases if the past data was biased. But for structured, repeatable tasks where you have good data, Predictive AI remains the most reliable option. It's not as exciting as robots or image generators, but it's the backbone of modern business operations. So, there you have it. 7 types of AI models, each with completely different capabilities. LLMs, chat. Multimodal sees and hears. Agentic AI acts autonomously. Physical AI gets a body. Edge AI runs locally. Generative AI creates. And predictive AI forecasts. The future isn't one AI doing everything. It's these 7 types working together. And if you want to keep learning, check out our video on every LLM, explain where we go deeper into ChatGPT versus Claude versus Gemini. I'll link it right here. Thanks for watching.